right, so welcome everyone. We'll call to order meeting of the Eastham Energy and Climate Action Committee for August 11th, 2026. And this meeting will be video recorded and broadcast over local access panel 8 and to the town website eastham-ma.com. All right.
One more person joining.
Good, awesome. Hi, welcome everybody. This warm day. And Shana had a great suggestion. We'll open with a little note about what we're all about. We work to address protecting and improving our environment, our air quality, our changing coastal areas, the policies, education, built infrastructure, and developing adaptable solutions to improve the quality of life. So we're providing guidance to the and advice to the select board. My quote today is we'll see if you know the author of this. The earth is a fine place and worth fighting for. Yes, it's
Cookie Monster.
yeah, almost. That's Ernest Hemingway. With that, let's do introduction. We'll let Mike introduce himself first and go around the common analysis.
Mike Star's the only member.
John Boyney, committee member.
Olav Hagelin, member.
Roberta Longley, member.
We have
Kevin Eastman, observer.
all right, welcome Kevin and Harriet
Harriet Emerson, member.
and John. You're next on our rotation along at least the screen that we've got here.
Yeah, you can introduce.
What am I talking about? Yeah. Meeting. Yeah, all right.
It went
And
around the circle very quickly.
Yeah, I know. Eleni.
Hi, Eleni Carr, member.
All right, and up to Kathy.
Kathy Dahl, Eastham Part-Time Resident Taxpayers Association.
Thanks for joining us. And Shana.
Shana Brogan, Town of Eastham staff.
And Cheryl's in the middle there. Cheryl, you there?
She's
On mute.
Cheryl, you are on mute. So Cheryl is with us. And John, I still think it's a great picture there, you know. All right. Is there any public comment? All right, seeing none, we'll proceed. So let's turn it over to Shana for town administrative updates.
Okay, so Tom and I met with Weston and Sampson, I think it was after the last Climate Action Committee meeting, to talk about replacing the electric charging stations out at Town Hall. So we're looking at installing or applying for the grant funding to install, I think it's 4 fast charging stations that would be kind of lined up where that big cottonwood tree is, which is kind of like over by the courts area on the backside of the parking lot. And then just keeping the level, I think it's level 2. The levels kind of confuse me sometimes. Yeah, the regular charging, long duration charging stations as they are, with just new components and looking at the library. So we sent them all the information that we have at this point. We're looking at moving forward with it and applying for the grant funding, and hopefully we get selected. We have like a organizational issue with some file storage boxes out there, which we're trying to work on with town staff internally. But other than that, that one's kind of moving along, and hopefully we'll hear something from Weston and Sampson soon.
Very good. And I did ask, I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but I did ask folks at the commission if they had heard anything, and they really did not have anything specific regarding the state DOT ability to move forward with it. I think from what Sampson Wesson said and what the commission said, it's kind of let's get it done, let's get it queued up, and a lot of the questions. May be answered once the state understands whether they really have the funding from the feds or not, or whether that will be clawed back.
May I make a comment? So Shana, I met with Mira this afternoon. And a couple of concerns. So I was over at the library last week. And I did in fact check out, make sure that 2 of the heads do have 1 working port. However, the library has posted that nothing's working at both heads, okay? And when I asked who put the signage on, Mira said she had put a signage on previously, but the library had put a bigger sign on that indicates that they're both not working. So the library's.
Did you talk to Melanie?
Well, before I approached Melanie,
Okay.
I wanted to find out who put the bigger sign on. Because when I talked to the library director in the past, they want nothing to do with the chargers. It's not ours. And I talked to the chairman of the trustees as well, Mr. Alfano. He says that's the town's problem. It's not the library's problem. Okay? So I'm trying to understand who in the town takes responsibility for signage and keeping public updated with the status of those chargers. Because again, you go to the library and it looks like nothing's working, yet they are. And here it's a little bit better. So I talked to Mira about, maybe we can make the signage clearer and put like a green check mark on the side that works and a red X on the side that doesn't. So when you pull in to park, you'll know, one is working and one isn't. At least maybe we should put a note on it to contact somebody other than the library, particularly at the library heads, with respect to things not working. So the library doesn't get burdened with, complaints, which is what Melanie was complaining about.
Okay,
Okay,
So do we know which of the heads at the library work?
yes, they're
that's-
clearly marked once you go up to the head. Okay, one
Oh,
side.
they are, so
Yeah,
those,
one side says not working when you go up to the head itself, but the big sign on the whole, there's dual ports. There's one left and right on each head, but there's a big sign on the head that says not working. Okay, but one side is working. Okay, and the ones here are a little bit better, because the sign's a little bit smaller. And it's clear again what's not working and what is working after you go up to the head. But it would be nice to know before you park, which head is working, okay? So it's like, well.
right, yeah.
A gas pump and nobody telling you that it's not working, okay?
Thank you for investigating that and talking with the library about it. I think way back when we were asking to put the signs up when they weren't working, I think Melanie had mentioned that she was gonna put signs up on her end and Mira was gonna put the ones up at town hall, but whatever the case may be, I can talk with Mira about putting more clear signage at the town hall and figure out who's gonna be checking on the stations periodically and who's responsible for that internally, because I'm not exactly sure. I thought it was the library, but I guess not.
Mira has a potential solution, as long as the town is amenable to this. At one of the recent conferences that Mira was at, with National Grid and Eversource and so forth, there's a company that will maintain and monitor the chargers for a fee. In other words, we charge X dollars per kilowatt hour, X cents per kilowatt hour, hopefully, not X dollars. All right, and then they will take a cut of that, but they will, if for doing that, will maintain the chargers, their operation, and do all the billing. So they will provide the check to the town for the usage income, as well as take care and upgrade the chargers as needed. So Mira was gonna look into that.
Okay, great. I'll
So
check
we
in with
need the
her
town
and,
To approve and make sure that, can go forward,
so,
if desired.
so first things first, the signage
Yeah,
is something that I think could be done. And then I think the maintenance of those chargers is also wrapped into what Smith and Wesson is looking at.
okay.
Because they're also looking at the possibility of either replacing those or putting something in place that would allow them to be.
So is Mira aware of that too?
Smith,
Um,
the gun manufacturer?
No, not Smith, it's Samson.
Talk about diversification.
Yeah, so that's.
It's not very-
Actually.
So no, they're talking to Rich directly, but that's good inputs. So do you have that info you
So
can
please,
pass?
no, please connect with Mira. Mira has.
Okay, yeah, we can chat with her and get the name and we can bring that up with Weston and Sampson and see how we can work that in as we work to replace the chargers.
Thank you.
Okay,
Because I pointed out to Mira that if you want PlugShare, which is a common app that EV drivers use to know where the available charges are, the town hall or the library appear as viable locations,
okay.
and they should.
All right, thanks, Mike. Shane, I wonder if you could say a little bit about the workshop and your your thoughts on the climate action plan workshop.
Yeah, I thought it went really well. It was very well attended. As you know, you sent out in the article from the Provincetown Independent. I thought they did great coverage for us. And I was really kind of surprised to see the diversity of different opinions. I mean, I was sort of only in the natural resources area, where everybody kind of went around and picked different recommendations that they thought that should be in the plan. But I was really glad that residents turned out to, provide their thoughts and ideas as to what we could put into the plan. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they come up with as far as what they think is the highest priority. It seems like lawn chemicals and things like that were very high, but I didn't get to see the transportation recommendation. So I'm interested to kind of know what was high on that list.
This looks like somebody's trying to join. I don't know if you can let them in or whether we need to let them in.
I think from over at the
Yeah.
laptop better.
Yeah.
All right, and any thoughts from those who are here?
Chime in.
Well, let me let the members speak first, and we'll get to you. Any thoughts from?
I would just echo what Shana said. I was mildly surprised and impressed at how many people turned out and how well engaged they were throughout. And the team continues to do a really good job managing these events and really getting great response from people. You don't always get that in these public events. And I think the team that's leading the development of the plan is doing a great job.
Yeah, ditto, I agree.
Yeah, I would agree. Also, hopefully keep that. It was great to see how many people turned up and turned out and how engaged they were. And so hopefully we can keep that momentum going. I don't know what opportunities for folks. I can't remember if folks signed in or what have you, or signed up, but an opportunity for those who did sign or who did attend to make sure that hopefully we can connect with them and, here's what's going on, here's an update, and here's the next meeting and the next step in the process, just to help keep them engaged. But yeah, it was good. So.
I think you were there as well, so yeah, welcome.
Yes, Kevin Eastman, 30 Chipman Street. I was in attendance at said event, and again, it was fantastic just to see the numbers, which I am glad to be part of. Something I brought up there was an interest in who can represent the school systems, and in my case, the elementary school, which I abut. A lot of their actions impact the climate, and I'm finding it frustrating to work with the town, with the school, to delineate all of those things and to have possibly a climate action, public safety action being following through the grid, and even at a meeting like that saying, boy, I'm hugely impacted by something with the elementary school. And then I think deeper, elementary school, school system and what is happening in the world. Is there a liaison? Is there someone through the town or through the school that even myself personally, I could check in with as a liaison with what's happening in this committee and what's happening through the school? I find there's a separation there that in my past experience, when my 20-something and both 30-something, who, thank you for the school system now, both have their masters, I had a lot more access to the school system. So I've taken a lot for granted that I had access, that even when I asked for that access, now I don't. And I realized even things like school systems, COVID, let's say, in a lot of ways, I felt like it got shut down. The access I used to have was inside the halls. Now, even as a butter, I can't put my foot on the property. So access.
Well,
Bring that element in. So being at that meeting was wonderful. And I thought and you're just saying update people at that meeting, I'm still saying, who can I talk to that represents
Mhm.
that element of our community, being the
And-
school system?
And appreciate that, your perspective on that and your comments, and if you can stay a few minutes afterwards, it's not one of the topics on our agenda.
I live
tonight,
really
but-
close. I'm willing to walk home in the dark.
Uh,
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I know,
Thank
we
you.
won't be here that late, so,
Thank you.
right afterwards, yeah, thanks, Kevin. Okay, and then, Shana, one of the items that, we had talked about last time was the One Cape registrations.
Yep.
What was the methodology for moving that forward?
So I have that on my calendar to register those two members that you provided me last week. So I'll do that tomorrow with town credit card and let you know that they're confirm with you that they're all registered and all set.
Fantastic, and as you, I think we may have mentioned last time, but anyway, yeah, John and Eleni will be attending, as well as
Great.
Roberta, who's invited as a panel member.
Yes.
It's gonna be an exciting conference. I don't think we've seen the agenda for that yet, have we?
I talked to Helene last week about it,
Mm.
one conversation, I think
Oh,
they're
good.
still piecing together what programs.
Excellent.
I know that she's seeking out the deputy director from the state climate, department.
Mm,
She's hoping that she can schedule her,
Mm.
that's the hope, she would kind of be the keynote on that particular, topic of climate, the breakout session on climate.
Oh, nice.
We think we would be a part of that, I'm hoping.
excellent. Well, we'll have good representation there, and that meeting is normally recorded and can be watched afterwards. And slides are normally available. And oh, by the way, Kathy, I mentioned that the workshop, the climate action workshop, was also recorded, the beginning part of it, not when everyone got up and started walking around, because it would have been difficult to do that. So that will also be made available. I haven't checked recently, end of last week, I didn't see it up yet, but we'll let you know when we see it.
So I just had one question while we're talking about this topic, and I'll just put it out there. If there is a schedule for future events as we look, as we look through, the August and maybe in September, if someone could make that available so I can make sure that our members are aware of it.
Okay, we'll do. Very good. Shane, anything else?
For the decarbonization plan, I sent and collected all the data that they were looking for, I think. A couple of weeks ago, I didn't hear anything back from the consultants. And I reached out to them again on Friday to see if they got it, if they needed anything else, and I haven't heard. So hopefully they're all set with that. And if they need anything further, we can collect it, and hopefully we get a draft soon that we can actually kind of go through that has all that information in there.
So the comments that we had sent in to you,
Yep.
those acceptable?
Yes, and I sent those off to them. So, I mean, as far as next steps go, I think it would be good to kind of meet to go through those comments and get any questions answered, but I haven't heard back. So we'll see whether we get a draft or we have a meeting as our next step.
Very good. All right, thank you. Next up is the minutes. So we have 2 minutes to approve. One of them was a working group meeting, so it's a very, very short. There was no deliberations at that meeting. The other one was the full ECAC meeting. Hopefully you've had a chance to look at that. Any questions, comments on the minutes?
Just a small thing on the July 14th meeting, I think that Cheryl Gale has got a Y in it. Small thing, so.
Thank you.
Right. With that, do we have a motion to approve with the changes noted?
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
I
I abstained from 14, but I put.
Okay,
Same, I didn't attend at that time, so,
Okay. All opposed? Okay. So the 14th is 5-5-0, and the other, the
No, 14th
21st,
is 2 abstentions.
5-0 and 2. I don't know how you put
Yeah.
the 2 in there, but it's, yeah.
Yeah.
And 7-0 on the second. Very good. All right, with that, we're gonna move into the discussions.
You have to approve the July 21st meeting.
I thought we just did that, but we can vote twice. There were 2 abstentions
sorry, I
on
missed
the
it.
14th, but if we need to make it clear, we can vote twice.
Yeah. There is a change on the July 21st.
Yes, with the change.
No, there's.
I'm sorry, there's another change, okay.
I attended that meeting,
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
okay.
so my name needs to be, I don't quite know why I attended that meeting. I thought it was a fall committee meeting, so that's why and we're looking for a quorum. But anyway,
So the
Yeah.
14th,
July 21st.
the 21st
Yeah.
meeting, we need to add Roberta.
Okay. Got it.
That's right, I think. So then let's vote for that. Let's revote that one, with the correction noted.
Yes.
Mike voted to. You're moving the motion.
Yes, I'm
Do we have a second?
I know we had to do another motion
Yes,
for the
yes.
21st.
So I need-
I'll second that.
Okay, very good. All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Opposed?
Aye.
Thanks. Okay, discussions. I do want to mention, and I just kind of want to throw this out to everybody and get a sense of the committee. I'm trying to keep the meeting moving. And I do rely on, I do have a set of times, of target times that I try to work towards, but I rely very much on the sense of the committee in terms of whether you think you need more discussion. So I do want to encourage folks, if you think we've gotten to enough discussion on a topic and we either want to close it or postpone the rest of the discussion for another meeting, please, we can do that. Just make your wishes known. And the second piece there is when we're discussing documents. As you know, I've been doing a summary so that we can kind of go through the top level intentions of the document without going, line by line through the document. I'm going to suggest something additional on that and at least see what y'all think, queue it up for your thoughts. Similar to what we did with the solar inventory, we kind of left it to the working group. And I'm thinking that perhaps that might be a good model for other documents to refer it to the appropriate working group for the detailed review. Get that worked, edited, and then published for the committee. In some cases, we may want to say, especially for the upcoming Women Weekend, we may want to just say we're going to delegate to the working group. So I just want to throw that out as a thought. I mean, do y'all feel like you'd like to go through documents in detail or what do you
No,
think,
this
Data?
meeting, no, I
Yeah.
did that at the working group level.
Yeah. Yeah, same.
Okay. Again, the goal to keep things moving and not get bogged down. Okay, well, first thing on the discussion agenda is the transportation goal. We talked only briefly, Mike, at the last meeting. Let me throw it up on the screen. The
The transportation goal's been rewritten and it's still slow to get started. A lot of the delay is due to my availability, trying to get multiple things I got going on done. And so I was hoping maybe Harriet could help out there, but I would like to, assign certain things that she could do. A lot of it has also been upset by the apple cart in Washington these days, since the goals and the statements were written prior to the current administration being elected, and so a lot of what we want to do no longer is, I should say, some of what we want to do, not all, but some of what we want to do is no longer in vogue, so to speak. So we have to understand where the current climate is locally, climate meaning relative to, electric transportation versus, fossil fuel transportation. So, it still needs to be regional, and that's my primary goal is to make sure that we couple in our counterparts, at our neighboring towns primarily, Orleans, Wellfleet, and Truro.
And maybe I should go to the next page. This is the as of earlier this year, but
No, I think that's,
oh, no, wait a minute.
that's the one.
No, that is the one, right one. Okay, I guess I didn't fix the top line there.
Yeah, again, it's really a draft. Okay, yeah, it's later than March, more in July, just before we'll have to go away for a bit. So what we're still planning, we'd like to do an event in the fall. And trying to determine the appetite for that event. And would there be interest, and I'm sensing that the events, to the two workshops that we had previously, the touch and learns that we had at the library in Orleans, the Snow Library in Orleans, and the one we had at the Elks here in Eastham, were focused specifically on electric vehicles. I think now, unfortunately, we have to broaden that to include plug-in hybrid electric vehicles and emerging electric long range electric vehicles, EREVs, which also burn fossil fuels in addition to provide drive power via the battery and electric motors. So the things that John Launder and I are going back and forth. John is your counterpart, as you know, in Orleans, and to look at the appetite for them potentially hosting one. I also discussed with John that maybe we would like to engage with a dealership in Hyannis for them maybe to host it, but people could arrange in advance of that day test drives at multiple dealerships in the area. So we would do the in-briefing at the morning at a particular dealership or location, and then after that, people could disperse and go do their test drives and engage with the actual dealerships themselves. One of the issues that John pointed out is John just recently leased a Honda Prologue, which is one of Honda's first GM Honda collaborations. And it was very difficult to get, John said it's very difficult to get test drives from any of the other vehicles he was interested in. The Ford dealer did not have a Mach-E Mustang. Somebody else, I forget what he said, somebody else, there was another dealership that didn't have a car that he was interested in. So maybe if we can work this in advance and get enough interest, the dealerships can work with their other dealership teams to maybe have loans for the day. If they can't have enough vehicles in stock. But this time that we're gonna broaden it to PHEVs and extended range EVs, EREVs. Which really are emerging, they're not out yet, but they're probably what pickup trucks will go to get a decent range, particularly with towing capability, because currently right now, towing capability stinks with these trucks of range or pickup trucks of that class. So it is somewhat challenged unless you buy a very big pickup and spend a lot of money. So that's her stance.
There's,
But I do have some, again, other town members that have agreed to participate, but we've been slow getting folks together.
I will mention that I have had a couple meetings now with the new executive director of the Chamber of Commerce. And the second one, the owner of Willie's Gym came down and chatted. Actually, she was there for both of the meetings, so I popped in and said hi. And she's expressed interest in hosting with her space for different events. And I brought up the possibility that, we had talked to the prior director, and we were really a little bit shoehorned into maybe only in that small space in the chamber office. And but Willie's offered to have it inside.
Yeah, it's possible we could get the dealerships to agree to bring their vehicles to an off-site location and then arrange for test drives as well. I don't know, insurance-wise, if that's, within their purview or not, so that's something we have to explore.
They have a big parking lot and they have a, large area. They said we could.
Yeah, every time I'm there though, for the Chamber of Commerce meetings, the parking lot seems to be pretty full, so. I'm not
And
sure where they would put it.
there's a meeting there tomorrow with the solid waste working group. We're actually having a meeting at Willie's for
very
the
good.
first time.
To see how it goes.
Yeah.
So Shana,
Yes, I'm not sure that it is advisable to have a EV meeting at a car dealership. That's town sponsored, so I'm wondering if it would be better to have the meeting like at tea time, if it's gonna be primarily outside, or, I mean, I think an area like the library or the COA where there's cars outside, maybe car dealerships could come to us with an EV that people could look at, they could talk to them. Something of that nature, as opposed to at like a private business.
Yeah, that's what I said, we could also explore having a meeting at an off, something closer to Hyannis. So that people wouldn't have to, everybody, wouldn't have to drive all the way from here to Hyannis just to do the test drive. If we had a meeting there, we'd give them a couple, motives to attend, so. But yeah, we'll have to explore options, Shana. Yeah, I did mention having the dealerships come here as well.
all right, any other thoughts on the transportation plan?
Oh, I did, by the way, explore with the commission at the workshop, back, a couple weeks ago. Paradigm shifts, we know we're a food desert, but we're also a pharmacy desert, we're also a medical desert, and, we don't have, well, fortunately, we have to drive to do everything.
EV desert.
Right, and even, yeah, so, one of the things I did bring up with the commission, is, but it's a huge paradigm shift, and I'm unfortunately discouraged that we may not go that route, but if you travel to other locations in the country and outside the country, and you go to the beach, you don't bring anything to the beach, everything's there for you. So the national seashore, or the Cape, Bayside beaches, or the ocean beaches, if the town beaches, Wellfleet, Truro, or in Orleans, if they provided food trucks, chairs, umbrellas, and so forth at the beaches, people wouldn't have to drive as much stuff to the beach.
The
So
only
they
cargo
maybe
you move is the people.
Get a smaller car, or maybe e-bike, all right? And try to avoid, or you could do the shuttle, like the seashore does, but again, that's, some people just don't wanna do it, people don't wanna make change to try to better the climate, or if they do make a change, it's gotta be convenient.
And that,
So-
that might be a good topic for the climate action plan,
So-
because there's pros and cons to that, of
Yep,
course, so,
right.
so that's something that we should get into.
So that was something, again, that was discussed, as a paradigm shift, or how we currently recreate, locally, but it's not like it's not done elsewhere, okay?
We're gonna keep moving, so thanks, Mike, and, yeah, we look forward to, seeing how you pull that
I
together.
look forward to Harry offering some more help.
So let's move on to the heat pump guide, we're gonna keep moving here.
I did just have one comment. I know Mike and I will be discussing the transportation goals more, I think. And forgive me if it was mentioned or I just mentioned it, but just for the goals, like if one of the, the various, here's what the overall goal, get more people to drive more sustainable vehicles or EVs or something. But looking at the universe of possible vehicles or people that we could get to take this action. So maybe some more absolute numbers. We want X number of people to buy EVs, to replace their existing automobile with an EV by, because I just think the level of effort is commensurate with what is going to be achieved. So I would suggest linking those and we can discuss that. But, how many people would we hope would, out of a population of however 5,700 or something in Eastham, and then year-round population, and extrapolate number of cars. So what's the total universe of people and vehicles that we're hoping to affect?
Yeah, Harry, and what we intended to do in the task was to quantify how people are using the vehicles and how that transitions to emissions. So that was the intent, to try to prioritize how many times do people go to the grocery store versus the beaches versus pharmacy, and how many are visitors versus residents? And try to categorize, where the emissions are coming from and why. So, but,
Yeah.
we need to do it.
All right, thanks. So the exciting next topic, I know the work group was in looking at the heat pump guide, which is tricky kind of tightrope to walk between being too technical
Yes,
and being too empty.
yes.
So I'll turn it over to John, and I don't know. if
Jack isn't with us, doesn't look like,
But the members of the stationary working group are here, so
Yep.
you all
Yep.
looked at this and you all are good with this and.
Yeah.
Right, so we want to give the rest of the committee a chance to understand where you're going and the document, the full document, I think everyone knows was attached to the to the meeting packet.
Mhm.
So everyone may have had a chance to or can take a look at it later.
Yep, so you have a summary in front of you, and this is something we've talked about in prior meetings as well. The objective with this guide is to reach Eastham community members primarily, and do a couple of things that we don't think have been done before, which is highlight the most valuable sources of information on heat pumps and annotate those sources so people don't spend a lot of time spinning wheels looking across the many sites out there that have some information. And we do that pretty succinctly. And in addition, there's a segment that provides data that is very Eastham tailored based on a simulation tool that we think is pretty neat, and that we have in this guide provided people with summary information coming out of that tool and pointed them at the tool if they want to get into it, but it doesn't bog them down in a lot of details. The whole document is 4 pages, so we've really tried to make it concise. We've tried to articulate it in a style that's kind of conversational and direct, and I think we've been reasonably successful with that. And where we go from here is we want to, get it made available publicly. We want to promote it through a couple of different mechanisms, including one that we'll talk about a little bit later in the agenda. But we're excited to get it out there, particularly at this time when, Mike alluded to this, the changes that have been taking place at the federal level. There's a lot of churn and a fair amount of confusion resulting from that churn about what people can and can't do, what sort of incentives are and are not going to be available going forward. And we think that a product like this will be timely in the face of that kind of that churn and somewhat that confusion. So we have a proposed action, but I do want to open the floor for more discussion, or
Do we have any?
I just have a couple of added points. So while the federal tax credits are disappearing, what's good, there's some good news in there too, in that the state and the utility companies is about to roll out a special tariff for people that have converted to heat pumps that is scheduled to start this winter.
I mean, a discount.
Yeah, I wouldn't use the word tariff.
No, well, it's a discount. Yeah, well, in the utility world, all the public information about what you pay for electricity is known as a tariff.
Right.
And so therefore, but I understand that in the greater context.
Got a new meeting today.
Yeah.
Goldman Sachs just issued their report on the tariffs today.
Yeah, different tariffs.
But again, Goldman Sachs is speaking on it.
Yeah.
There will be a heat pump.
So there are new barriers, but there's also new opportunities, with what I'm saying, and there's that is incorporated into the memo as well.
Right,
Yeah.
and so, we'll just clarify, there will be a heat pump discounted electric rate. Eversource doesn't have it finalized yet. I think they've submitted it and are waiting for the DPU to approve it.
Yeah.
And it'll be in effect like October, I think, through March or something like that.
Right.
And interestingly, it's a discount on all your electricity. So if you have an EV, you also get a discount on your EV charging during that time frame too. What we don't know yet is how one gets the rate. We think from what I was told that anyone who got a heat pump through Mass Save should already be automatically known to the state
Right.
and to.
We'll find out, yeah.
We'll see.
Not
But,
that- yeah.
Others may have to
Yeah.
apply, but
Right.
yeah, it really closes the gap between
Mhm.
the, the electricity that you spend extra on a heat pump.
So are they gonna decrement the net metering credits during that period?
That's a good question. Don't know.
I don't think they provided all the
Very good
details.
Hopefully not, but
Should I?
Yes, yeah.
I thought it was really, really well done. It was very clear. 4 pages, I think is perfect. And I love the links as opposed to trying to just reinvent the wheel. I thought that really makes a lot of sense. Of course, it's directed to somebody who's really got listening, already listening.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I didn't actually go to the Rocky Mountain website, but I haven't had a chance to do that. So I don't know how easy that is to go to. But it's great that, again, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel, that we're using the excellent materials that are out there. I think one message I think we should really try to pound home, whether it be through the document or just in promotion of it, is the reality is that it is cheaper to heat and cool your home through electricity. The annual cost is cheaper,
Yeah.
and that's a fact.
Well,
Right? It's a fact.
not necessarily with gas. Unfortunately.
Gas is one exception.
Well, I'm saying if you're all electric.
Right,
Versus
but
natural
If
today,
you're electric, yes.
today, without the heat pump rates in place,
Right.
it's still. Actually, at this point, the natural gas rates are very cheap, and so it's cheaper if you have a new gas furnace.
So it's not.
So we're getting there,
Yes,
we're getting to that
just-
point.
Yeah.
So I think the document was careful not to make too strong statement there yet.
Right. No, I mean, the table is sort of the centerpiece of presenting that information on costs. Is, I think, pretty simple, pretty clean, and it shows heat pumps. Annual operating costs compared to natural gas, compared to oil, et cetera. And importantly, we included in this most recent draft, the change in rates, which is forthcoming. And that makes a significant difference.
Yeah.
To a couple of those figures in the table, so.
And I think that will be coming,
Yeah.
I have no doubt that will go in place.
The initial message is really important, is get somebody to come to this document. That is gonna be the big question, how we do that successfully and how we promote this and what language we use in very simple, succinct terms to get people to that document, so.
what I worry about is that I'm not sure we've clearly covered expectations. In other words, when people shift from a fossil fuel burning gas furnace or oil burner system to a heat pump, how they manage their set points and their temperatures is different for each pump.
That's
And a lot of people
Hmm.
get frustrated by the fact that, well, I turned it up a couple degrees and I wait so long, I'm waiting for, half an hour or an hour for it to change temperatures. And I go over to the register and it's not really hot. It's warm, but it's not really hot. So we have to make sure we set expectations, and people understand that using a heat pump to heat a home is not the same as using a fossil fuel.
Correct,
You don't get that
absolutely.
burst.
Would
initial
the
burst of
working
energy.
group like to do another following document? 'Cause I think, yeah, really.
I think it's part of the workshop. I think what we got to do is
Right, exactly.
educate people.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely an operational piece to
Expectation.
this, yeah.
This document,
Yeah.
we can't put every.
Yeah, can't put
Yeah.
everything in there.
into
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
That's not what it's about.
Yeah.
Right?
But I think it'd be very handy, because we're only gonna get 50 plus or minus people at a workshop. A document that is maybe a follow-on document that's a handy reference guide for how to operate now that you put one in.
Yeah, the state of Maine has a good document
I
on
think-
operational issues, and I think again, in the name of not reinventing the wheel,
Point to that.
point to that
That's a
potentially,
great
but
idea.
bring that up.
Yes.
That's a key thing.
And what you're describing, possibly in addition to that, even could be a nice product coming out of the workshop that we're contemplating. We did something similar for the last workshop on solar, where we took the questions and answers that people shared during the workshop, and we kind of compiled them into a single document and made that available. And that's one of the things that I would imagine would come up is, why is my experience different with heat pump than it is with everything that Mike was just saying?
Yeah.
So that could be a good follow-on to the event that we're contemplating. So,
Yeah, we will. Any other comments? All right, so let's go to the proposed motion, which is summarized down at the bottom there. Basically what you'd like to do, I think, the working group would like to do is make this document available. Our website, and workshops.
Social media.
Yeah, do you want to make the motion?
Yes, I move that we approve conveying the pump guide to the town and request that the document be posted publicly on the website for the town and for the general public's access.
I will second with the provision, we include the main link.
Main-
The state of Maine link talks about operation of the heat pump.
Okay, can that be included?
So if that's a good link, Olaf, that you're aware of.
Yeah, I'm looking for it.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That should
All
be
right, send
included.
me the link when you get it.
Yeah.
And yes, we
Okay.
can.
Very good. All, do we have a so you seconded?
Yeah.
All right, so all in favor of,
Hi.
Aye.
opposed?
Okay.
Very good, thank you. Good work by the, station.
Yeah.
It's a very impressive
Good effort,
document.
good team effort.
Good
Yeah.
job.
I can see Jack's touching this.
Yes, yeah, really good stuff. All right, this hopefully will be a simpler discussion. It's a nice compact newsletter. The formatting might be a little bit different. I know John's been working on ways that we can make this ultimately easier for not only John, but for the committee in the future. And hopefully you've all had a chance to take a peek at the bulletin. Any discussions, comments? You have any introduction, John, that you want to do?
Not a lot, though, as Tom indicated, I've been working to try to get this to a place where we've got a standardized format. And it's looking like it's going to need to be something that's based in a table as sort of the framework for each edition of the bulletin, because of the way that links work. So that's why you see kind of the cells structure here that we have. But if we can make that work, then in the future, you'll have the document open with empty cells for the next issue, and you just populate the cells with whatever content you need to do. So hopefully that'll make this a relatively easy thing to update and use on a repeating basis. As for what's here, it's an update on the climate action plan, because that's sort of the hot news right now for these several months. And then connected to what we were just discussing, the lower left boxes, reminding people that despite what's stopping in 2025, there are a number of opportunities continuing past 2025. And we highlight them here and point people toward the website for more information. And that's going to be the thrust of the workshop that we'll discuss here in a second as well. And then our partners in recycling, we've had discussions with them about kind of co-promoting our respective committees' efforts, and this is one instance of that.
And I think at the last meeting, we all agreed that we would.
Yep.
We would do that.
Yep.
So their link is there.
Yeah. And if anybody out there is expert in the use of tables and graphics, let me know, because I would love to have a chat with you.
Well, we're almost there, except the embedded links.
Exactly. Yes, we had, right. Yes.
So I
So if-
haven't given up yet.
John, what are you planning to send this out?
By the end of the month, because it's a September, October.
There may be then a scheduled follow-up for the plan already scheduled in October. I know Helene from the
Oh.
commission is trying to find a date.
Right.
And if we get it before that goes out, it'd be
Okay.
great to put that on there.
Great. Yeah, I did ask if we could put a date on here for when that will be a next milestone. She said fall. So,
She's working.
yeah.
Okay.
One quick comment, sorry, I can't see the top of the document now, but, and maybe it has it, but a way to, get on our email list or to contact where to find our website for the ECAC and just.
There is, yeah, good point, Harriet. There is now at the bottom. It doesn't show on this draft.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see, John. Okay, it sounds like you have it covered then.
Yeah, we do, but thank you for.
Okay. You
Yeah.
bet. I just couldn't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, Harriet, you bring up an interesting point. More and more I've been hearing from people who have been saying they didn't know that we had a website. or they didn't know where to find it. In fact, I got a call from someone, I'll talk later, who was interested in solar and was trying to find out who she could talk to. When she went to Energy Sage, she said it was really difficult. Energy Sage gave her all kinds of off-Cape vendors. They're kind of the Amazon marketplace of solar. And I said, well, we do have a website. Oh, she didn't know that. And I wonder how we get that in the minds of people more. And is the, maybe there needs to be something in every newsletter that, at the bottom again, that says, hey, visit us here for documents and tips. And then along with the link to subscribe or unsubscribe.
Yeah, we probably should just have a little banner or an icon or something that just has the link and formatted in such a way that it's consistent issue to issue and draws the eye. And I think that's part of what Harriet was recommending, and you're right. I think that's something we should have. Because I went back and looked at some of the resources that are available if you go to our page on the town's website, and there's very good stuff for whoever it was that called you from Mass CEC in particular. So it would be nice if this person knew where to look.
Yeah.
What about our own guy?
Right.
We have a whole bunch of.
I know.
Yeah,
I pointed
suppliers.
I pointed her to all that. But interesting, it's not something that they're thinking to look on the town website.
Yeah.
So we got to think about how we get
How
that
do we
out.
get on these how do we get on some of these social media websites like the Facebook and Kathy's part-time Eastham part-time taxpayers.
Oh, no, what is it?
So we need to get more broad awareness of who we are.
There's a section of our website, of the town website, when you log in, and I don't know, I guess Shana, you're still with us. It says, how do I? And it's kind of like a bunch of quick links. And I'm wondering, I don't know what is the thought process behind how something gets on that list. As a provider and we're tasked with giving resources to citizens. Can we get on that how-to list? Because otherwise people evidently are just not understanding that they have to go to commissions and committees and go down and find energy and climate, and they're somewhere down in that bowels there, they'll find solar.
We can certainly ask. There are quite a variety of different things listed under there. I was just looking at it. So even if it's more generic, like access board and committees, maybe that'll at least get someone to see where the Energy and Climate Action Committee. And I also wonder if just the name of the committee is just, they're, not thinking like, let me go find a board and committee in the town and I can ask them questions about solar, and that's, they don't even know that's your name, to think to even go to that page. So I think they're probably just thinking, oh, I'll go on the town website and there'll be something there about solar, and I can just click on something that says solar without having to go to like committees and then energy and then,
Yeah.
Right.
Informally, and John, I can follow up with you and share with the heat pump guide or just the newsletter once it's finalized. But I've shared as myself, of course, a couple of things on the Eastham Facebook page, and then we belong to next door, so it's Kingsbury or something. So that's one way. Maybe if I were to do that and a couple of other people were to do that consistently, if they are different members of different next door, I'm not sure how that works, but anyway, or some other association they might have, but some other existing social media platform, and to share it consistently or once a month or something, and to always include the website with that. So, just an informal personal action that we can take, but just getting in. And somebody I know in next door, sometimes people talk a lot about things anyway, but there sometimes is quite a bit of conversation when something is posted on the Eastham Facebook page or, my next door site, so.
Well, and perhaps, in that, did you know section, this month you've got the heat pump guide,
Right.
maybe we need to refresh. Cause
Mhm,
I took a look at some of the solar stuff and
mhm.
probably needs to be updated. There's not just the incentives, but there's other things in there that probably need a little bit of update.
Sure.
So maybe that's something the stationary group can look at.
Mhm.
And I was also thinking as you were talking, Harriet, is maybe, I know Harriet, you're helping on the communication side with John. Maybe you could take a look and see what's out there as best practices for other towns. How do they get kind of tips to residents? What's the methodology that they use to pull people in so they know where to find stuff? Because, I think Shana, you're right. They may not know that down in the bowels of the committee pages are not just, committee documents. There's stuff for residents in there.
Mhm. A visual cue and identity for the committee, I think would also help if we had an icon that was commonly used across all of our products, bulletin, workshop, reports, et cetera, et cetera. That would, reinforce the identity of the committee as something distinctive and, yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
so,
I think it largely depends on how, I don't know if flexible is the right word, but the town's, I guess, policy on its social media
Mhm.
and yeah, I can off the, I'm probably sure most of us can think of something like a banner or something, what have you. But I think to a large extent, it's the town's policies for their website and their
Mhm.
social media and ability to work through that platform. So.
well, whoever came up with the wave thing, I think you guys did a good job with that. To think about the climate action and ECAC. But let's get back to the newsletter. Any
If there are any
other
comments,
suggestions? Are we ready
yeah.
for a motion to release?
One thing I was looking at, the climate action plan, would it be valuable to put the website to that plan so that people are want to learn more about it, then we can go to it? The one that it's the commission's website.
Sure, we provided that in the previous issue that went out, the very first one.
Yeah.
We could do it again for sure.
Because
Yeah, it's a good
maybe
idea.
somebody had no idea they get this and this is new to them,
Good idea. There's, another item in terms of they have no idea, and it's, you reminded me of something. I was researching stuff that goes into spam filters.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
Shana, is it possible to get a town email address for the committee? Because evidently one of the things that causes stuff to go into spam is things like Gmail. They're more susceptible, and that's what we're using right now. If we put in a request, would that be considered?
I think it was requested some time ago, wasn't it? Like a year, maybe year and a half ago or something. I vaguely remember the request and it was like not allowed or something for, I don't remember what reason and, but
But
yeah.
look at the recycling committee email right there. They got one.
Oh, okay, so,
That's why I was bringing it up again, because I'm like, oh, look at this. They've got an Eastham address.
yeah, all right, yeah, I'll ask. It'd be good to know how they got theirs, because then maybe I can take that route.
Because that evidently would be a key point, because we really don't have standing. There's different ways to validate your address. We don't have a standing out there, and the spam filters are more suspicious about a Gmail address. But anyway, with that, I don't know if I guess we can vote on this and releasing this. Anyone want to make a motion to
Motion to approve releasing
for
newsletter
September?
With
Second?
for the fall.
With an amendment to add,
September
Yes,
fall.
amendment to add the link for the climate action.
yes.
I second that.
All in favor?
Right?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. I'm going to suggest moving on to the next item here that we've actually already had our discussion on fall events. And I'll just mention the reason I put that on there and the reason why I've been, kind of talking to John and Mike about doing something is I've noticed there's a significant drop off in contact from residents in between our public events. We get a lot of emails right after different events that we do, and then it just kind of trails off and people forget about us. So I think, a key way, if that's an indication of how effective we are in reaching people, that's a key way to get to people is hold events. Even if they're small events, small being like an hour and a half in the library or something.
And if you maintain sort of a steady, not constant, but sort of a steady flow of events like that, then you maintain your presence in the sort of public view, public mind, and
But they have to be, they have to be attractive about that.
Yeah,
People-
yeah.
People have to be interested because otherwise it's just gonna get bored and.
if we had
We've already
one,
done that. How are we gonna do that?
well, if you do an event with flashy cars,
That's for speaking of events, what are we doing for Memorial Weekend?
That's coming up.
Oh, I didn't see it on the agenda.
It's in the events. I put it in there.
Upcoming events.
That's what we can fix. Okay.
So you're a good
Amen.
great man, yeah, for what's coming up next, because here we go. All right, so why don't we move on then, unless anyone else has any thoughts and comments on scheduling events, but I think what we'd like to do is, get the, in the heat pump area and the transportation area, ideas for scheduling something, and the library does get scheduled, the schedule fills up quickly.
yeah, I reached out to the library today, and we can't, for events out in late October, we can't quite yet reserve space.
Well, there may be ways that we can do that.
Well,
So if
that
we have
would
a
be-
town event.
Do you want to whisper to the right person?
So I'll mention, the Laura Cape TV. Actually, they're in Orleans, but they have a big studio,
Yeah.
big space that's available. I don't think you have to be an Orleans resident. So in fact, Tom, we were at the Pearl yesterday and you were talking to Adam Dorn. So that might be an opportunity, and especially if we want to partner on something with Orleans. But anyway, I know they have a big interior space that I think they're hoping to get people to use more. So
Yeah, it was very interesting. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. I had that kind of on my list to talk about, but this is the best time to do it. I'm still a little fuzzy on what they are versus the organizations that we talked to when we held some of the past events, and we were told that Eastham could only have 2 events that they would broadcast live. Do you remember that? Yeah, and I thought it was Lower Cape TV, but Adam was telling us, they've got a studio, they're looking for things to do in there.
Content.
Yeah. So that actually might be a very good option, and so I promised Adam that I would give him a ring, and he said he'll give us a tour. And let's see what they're all about. And heck, if we can do an activity right there, a workshop right there, I don't know how many people we can hold there. They would be very interesting.
There's more than one just big space, as I recall, Harry, right? Aren't there a couple of other rooms in the same?
I think there's at least one. It's been a while, John. I've been there last summer when I was at the COA, so it's been at least a year since I've been there. But I think you're right. I think there's at least one smaller meeting room in addition to the big space. So
Great idea.
All right, yeah, great, thanks, Harry. Let's talk about Windmill Weekend. So, a couple things we need. First off is volunteers. So in the past, we've split it up into 2 pieces. And that's kind of, thanks to Mike last year for doing a good organization of this. And I figured we would keep that model. It's Saturday, September 6th. Setup is around 9 a.m. And then, the event opens at 10. What I'd like to do is recruit volunteers here for those 2 shifts. I think 2 people per shift is ideal, but we could certainly do 3.
I'll take the 10 a.m. The first batch.
I'll do 10 if I were to do it out the morning.
Okay. And that day I can do the morning. That is on the 6th. Yeah, no, actually I could do either, so I'll take the afternoon shift then. Anyone else for the
I would
afternoon?
normally volunteer, but I have one event, 1 PM event at the library on Saturday. It's Saturday, unveiling of our sculpture that we've
Oh, nice.
donated.
Oh, nice.
I would love to help out, but I will not be there this week.
Mm,
I think I could help the afternoon.
the afternoon, okay, thanks, John. Okay, for the setup, I'll bring a canopy. And Mike, you had done chairs, and you had done a table as well last year, and I forgot to put table in there.
Yeah, you can borrow my table, I just can't be there.
Okay,
I don't care to do it for you.
I can bring chairs over as well. All right, so I'll do the chairs
No,
and
just
then
bring you over the
bring the
table.
table, okay.
I mean, I'll give it to you at your house. No, not. I guess I could, no, I don't know, I can't drop it off there, so.
Okay, we'll work that out.
Yeah.
The other, and I have the banner, so with that, I think that's most of what we need. The next question is handouts. And I thought copy of the wave, these are just some ideas that I had for discussion here. Copy of the latest newsletter. I think copies of the heat pump guide would be awesome.
Yeah, I'll update the next 2, so.
Yeah, and those, those need to be reviewed,
Yeah,
so thanks,
Let me
yeah.
look at them and see what.
That'd be great, thanks, Mike.
What's all the
Um,
update.
Harry, you had a great idea, which was, I think that was the title that you showed me, free and low cost ways to reduce energy use and costs.
The working title.
Yeah, okay. So I think it's a great idea. You want to explain what you're thinking there, Harry?
Sure. So I put together, which I shared with Tom, just an initial draft list of, and I'm sure there's more we could include, but just free and low cost ways for folks to reduce their energy use, their related emissions, and hopefully would be of interest to a lot of people, but especially folks who, lower income, are renters, or, part-time homeowners who might, be more interested in lower cost improvements to make their home more energy efficient. So so if folks are interested, I'd love to share it with folks who are interested in providing input and help me make it better. And to have that as a handout, and also came across a couple of other articles. Like CNET had a great article, like 23 ways, super easy, like to unplug your coffee pot, or how to use your dishwasher, or things like that. But and how to drive. So if anyone would be interested, maybe you're going to handle that, Tom, but communicate as ever appropriate and over the next couple of weeks, and then get that ready to be a handout for Windmill Weekend, and then maybe put on the website and what have you. So.
And I'd like to suggest, at least throw out the suggestion here to the committee, is that there's a good example of perhaps letting requesting the state sharing energy working group, which I think would be the appropriate one to review and work with Harriet, just to give some peer review of the document, get it polished up and ready to go.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And then I was thinking, I've been having this on my mind, what can I do, kind of one one pager that's kind of a roadmap of things, and this is based on some material that Rewiring America did, along with This Old House, on an interesting podcast. And it's basically, first you should, for the home, you should winterize, and weatherize rather, and insulate. And then you should consider heat pumps and then electrify your appliances, and then get solar or, solar in the mix to that. And then on the transportation side, that's the other key piece. And again, solar is a good add-on for that. So what I want to do is, if you think that would be a worthwhile thing to have, I'll throw that together and send it over to the working group to take a look at and work on.
That's good.
I think so.
What about covering things like more plant-based diets versus, meat? I mean, that also reduces, methane gases and, using less plastics, it's not just recycling, it's also energy.
And I hope we'll be next to the recycling group. That was the request. So, yeah, I think in terms of the recycling side, hopefully that's, they're gonna have a bunch of things there to help the compost.
But again, that's recycling, I'm talking about not even using the hamper.
Yeah.
And then.
Well, we could put that on the what can I do? What, both on the what can I do and Harriet on your, cheap ways to, to save the environment. Would that fit in yours?
What, I'm sorry, Tom, what fit in mind?
In terms of easy things to do to, I don't know whether it's gonna be the broader help the environment and the climate or just reduce energy use. What are you thinking?
Oh, I think, one, if you reduce energy use, then you're reducing also related emissions. So I think, something for people, because there are people that it's a struggle for them to pay their rent or their mortgage or healthcare costs. So I think it could be twofold to really help people reduce the cost of their energy use because they're very perhaps income limited. And then also as a benefit and also at the same time, reduce their energy use and related emissions.
Right, so it's.
Yeah.
Energy related. So I would say that we could put it on the what can I do page.
Yeah,
maybe one reference could be where that idea came from, or it may have come from a different source, but where it's collected is a project called projectdrawdown.org. And they're focusing on they've really quantified all of the things that is available to us to do today. In other words, they're focusing on not necessarily having to invent new stuff in order to be able to accomplish stuff. And eating plant-based a plant-based diet is like in the top 5%.
Yeah.
I mean, it's top 5 out of 100 ranked solutions.
Right. So we can certainly put that in. And so most of the list so far is it's easy, just really easy things to do, like change your driving habits. Your gas powered equipment for a lawn equipment. So pretty easy things to do. It's not a lot of new fandangled technology or expensive technology. So
might help now the price of beef is gonna go up.
Yeah. So any other documents that we'd like to include there? I think those are the main things that we had available, but if there's other.
Do we have
items
any
that I missed.
swag other than the magnets?
No, but Cape Light Compact will have swag.
They'll be there.
Oh, I still have a box of those things that Roberta gave me from a couple of years ago. The trifold was trifold that who made it?
the
The Clapton paid for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The decarbonized.
So I have a
Yeah.
bunch.
Yeah, look at that, yeah.
Yeah.
Not recycling.
No, I mean, they're probably.
Hey, you guys don't take it. I will.
But that's.
Yep.
Okay, why don't you drop those off with the other table? Okay. Very good. Anything else that I've forgotten in terms of Windmill Weekend? All right. Very good. Should be a good day. So other items on my list of things, you've got my my chair's report. The select board presentation, yearly presentation will be on the 22nd. And I've listed the main topic areas there, and Shana, we've talked about that a little bit. Really focusing around the climate leader application, which comes with the ZEV first policy and the decarbonization roadmap. So I know those are both in play. And I guess at some point, Shana, at our upcoming meeting, maybe we can talk about how the ZV first policy kind of gets rolled out to the select board. Should we be meeting with Jackie first? I mean, that was kind of the goal that we had talked about, but I wasn't sure if she was available.
I think the meeting with Rich should suffice. I mean, I think you're gonna be submitting backup material to put in the packet for the select board to read ahead of time. Rich will have all of the sort of additional background information on the topics that are going to be discussed, and he was there for the workshop. So I think we should be well covered with this meeting. I'm meeting with Jackie on Thursday, so I can ask
Okay.
and let you know.
Okay.
And I think Rich will definitely be at that meeting. He's at most of the select board meetings, or
Yes. Yep.
just ask him if he could be sure to be there. So he is the kind of the staff. If there's a question.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I wanted to ask, we had talked about whether or not it would be a good idea to have the commission come in, either at that meeting or a subsequent meeting to work with us and talk to the select board about the climate action plan. I don't think Elaine had made up her mind as to whether that was a good timing for them to do that, whether they'd have all their ducks in a row yet. Do you have any opinion regarding that agenda? If not, maybe you could ask Jackie and just see if we could schedule them for an upcoming meeting.
I don't know if, I mean, just in terms of them providing a presentation, I don't know where we're going to be in the next 4 weeks or so. Cause like us, our group working with the commission, we don't have any of the feedback that the public has provided. We haven't had a chance to really think about it or, organize it in any way. So I think it could be a little bit, I know it's like going to be done by the end of the year, but it's a little bit premature. I did provide Jackie an update on the workshop that she put in the select board's packet, and she told them about at the last select board meeting. So they're aware on, how that workshop went. And I think giving them just a general sort of update as to the feedback that we've heard, the feedback that we're getting, the workshop, should it be after the September 22nd meeting so that any interested select board members can go, and then some type of timing for after that we could give them another update if they're interested. Maybe I'm just asking them if they're interested and want an update.
Very good. Okay, thanks.
I need to scoot, everybody, but I'll catch up later, and I'll catch up with you later, Tom. Okay, bye. Thank you, bye.
And then the third major bullet there is list of things that we would provide, but not necessarily talk to during the meeting. So it would be in the packet. So if there's anything additional there that you'd like to have highlighted as accomplishments, things that we've done for the year since the last update, which was about a year ago, let me know. And I'll certainly pass that around and let everyone, take a crack at that before we.
So I am still working the numbers with respect to what the town uses today in their renewable energy solar position, and where we expect to be in 5, 10, 15, 20 years.
Great.
How that energy usage will grow based upon wastewater treatment facility and electrifying municipal buildings and sanitation. So I'm not done with that yet.
Okay, very good. Okay, town support. So it sounds like the one item we'll add is the heat pump release once. I assume that the couple changes we talked about are easy enough.
Right.
And then Shane, I guess you had passed on to Kayla the ongoing requests for the webpage corrections.
Yes, I did submit that to her not too long after you submitted it to me, and Kayla's been on vacation. So she just came back today, so I haven't had a chance to follow up with her. But I asked her about posting the, all the data and updates to the webpage, but also if she could give me a tutorial on quick posts that I could put on the webpage, because I did kind of log in and look around as to how that's done, and it's a little scary. So hopefully she can give me just some quick instructions as to how to post simple things.
Great, great. That'd be wonderful. Yeah, thank you for looking into that. Okay, in terms of other items that I might want to highlight, I mean, you can read through what's in there. I'll mention the Mike and I have been helping with the OCAN rollout of their Energy Navigator program. So if you have time, stop by the Orleans Farmers Market on the 16th, and they'll have lots of interesting handouts. Mike did several of those handouts. They're still trying to assess what they're going to need in terms of volunteers. It is certainly open to anyone to volunteer at this point. My request to Cecilia is to make it clear when they come to ask us for support, what kind of support they're asking for, because I told her point blank that I didn't want the entire committee expected to volunteer for this. Everyone is quite busy on this committee, but you certainly are welcome to volunteer on your own. And I think part of what they'll be asking for is help publicizing it and recruiting volunteers to come in and help. Okay. Congratulations to Olaf. He was appointed as the Eastham alternate to the Cape Black Compact. So we'll be traveling out Wednesday. To the meeting. There's an interesting suggestion, and I don't know if anyone knows of the use of the Community Preservation Act funds. I don't want to have a big discussion on it here, but I'm interested if there's anyone that knows anything about it. The person felt pretty strongly that that would be a good candidate to go do upgrades and source of funds for the for some of the climate related items that we're looking to do.
The state sponsored thing? Or?
No, it's actually town money.
That's, every time there's a real estate transaction, there is a fee to that.
Okay,
That
that
goes
goes
into
into
the
that fund.
CPA, and every year there is a committee that makes recommendations to town meeting
Okay.
for what they think would the town should spend money on through these funds. And it's actually a fair amount of money. Usually there's three categories. One is conservation environment. The other one is, I believe, affordable housing, and then there's a third, which is
I think it was historic, maybe.
history. Yeah.
Something like that.
historical.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's very distinct categories.
Yeah.
So that would be a question is where it's that.
Right. Yeah. It wasn't quite clear to me how that would fit, like doing energy efficiency upgrades on the STEM library, or not the library, the museum, history museum. Is that qualified? I have no idea. So something we can talk about if anyone knows or has any ideas. Another quick piece, interesting. I don't know if you remember the intern Adele Giovanelli. I can't pronounce her name properly. I apologize. But HCIC, that's the remember the acronym? Housing and Climate Innovation Center, something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she's working for HCIC, and this company called Active Surfaces has come up with this really interesting, super lightweight, potentially thin film solar idea. And she hooked them up with us and said, is there any application within Eastham? So the items that we've got so far is maybe the south facing side of the landfill, because the landfill is a capped landfill and too much weight on that is a problem.
The slow facing slope is hard to develop, so this might help.
Yeah.
What are they selling exactly?
So they're looking for pilots for their new very super low weight solar.
It's a new product.
Yeah, it's a new product. They have money to go do pilots. Another one I was thinking could be very lightweight canopies. instead of that really big, heavy, rigid, cantilevered, steel girders. They can do something super lightweight and much more, cape-ish looking. Rich had asked,
One seagulls dropping.
yeah,
Don't.
well, I mean, we don't put it by the parking lot and the beaches, put it over here.
So Adele,
Um, Yeah,
is she
uh,
associated with them?
no, so she's associated with HCIC, not with,
She was an intern, but yeah, I actually
yeah.
I got an email from her.
So-
actually, yeah.
Right, so I just want to
Yeah.
know. associated.
Well, actually, HCIC and Greentown Labs, she's helping them.
It'd be used to, I think, too, wouldn't she?
Yeah, so Rich had asked for, could it also be used in the water towers? As kind of a conformal surface. So I've got that on the list. If anyone else has any ideas, please email me. All right, and that is it for me. So appreciate all your patience. Any member updates that you'd like to bring up?
You know about it, but I don't know what else, is on. Tom and I are trying to engage with Rich, to, a company Soltech, which is the developer for the Cape Tech canopy. So right now, if you didn't know, the Cape Tech entered an agreement with Soltech to provide about a 0.5 megawatt canopy over what we're currently putting the charges for the 10 EV buses that the Cape Tech now will be using. And so Soltech is the developer, and we thought, we should engage with them because they work with another company, which is a nonprofit called Power Options. So in addition to CVEC, Power Options also has worked with the state of Massachusetts to build out solar to municipalities. So, but more, the entire state, not just Cape and Vineyard, which is what CVEC is focused on. And then also thinking about the Tea Time property, and if it's not gonna be developed for several years, maybe putting solar there temporarily.
Right, so that's in our inventory now. And that's, there were a number of interesting things that the working group came up with that we've added to that.
Because with wastewater treatment facility, we're gonna be underwater with usage if we don't add more solar, so it's gonna cost us more.
Not the right term to use, underwater.
Well, that's gonna happen. Rich made it very clear that we have 2 ways to get out of town when the king tides flood both Route 6 and Bridge Road.
All right, we are right at our time mark, but if anyone else has any other comments to share, any updates? If not, with that, we'll take a motion to
Motion to
adjourn.
Second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nobody wants to stay. Oh, thank you. We got to 6 o'clock.